Hey guys, it's Generalkidd here. How's everyone doing today? So, for today's video, we're going to be tackling the subject of who's flying the flood-controlled Pelicans at the beginning of the mission High Charity. So, at the beginning of this mission, there were actually two Pelicans that fly in from out in a distance, and one of them is carrying two flood carriers, which it drops off to help in the fight here. And a lot of people have actually been wondering for a little bit, who's flying them? Because if you look close at the cockpit, there's nobody inside them. And some people speculated for a while, some wild guesses that it could be like a Marine that's flying them, because, you're not supposed to see who's inside. Or they speculate that there's no driver at all. It's like one of those generic AIs that has no model or anything. And both of those are pretty likely guesses, actually, because it wouldn't be the first time that Bungie, hid some random character inside the vehicles that they're flying. Like, Tartarus's Phantom, for example, is actually just a regular elite flying it, not actually Tartarus himself, or even a brute for that matter. So, could it be the Flood Pelicans are actually piloted by Marines, or just generic AIs? Well, to do that, I did a little simple mod where I made the Pelicans friendly, and I made them drivable to me so that I could simply ask the pilot to get out very nicely. And as you saw there, I was able to kick the pilot out, and it was actually a Flood Elite combat form that's flying the Pelicans, or at least the first one. Now let's take a look at the second one and try to get a better look as well at the pilot. So both Pelicans are drivable to me, and I set them both to be friendly, which is how I'm able to kick them out. So this one should be no different than the first one. And this one's flying a little bit slower too, so it'll be a little easier to kick the pilot out. But as you can see there, it's another Flood Elite combat form. So there you guys have it. It is the people flying these two flood-controlled Pelicans. They are actually correct. Lore-wise, they are correct. They are both piloted by flood combat forms, which is a little surprising, actually. I kind of expected, either like a Marine to be flying them, but just set to be, on the Flood's team, or I expected like a generic AI as well, just like a lot of people guessed. But yeah, so that's basically who's flying it. And as a little bonus, since I was able to kick them out of the Pelicans, I was able to also fly the Pelicans, which is something fun you could do as well. But that's not the entire point of this video. But speaking of flying the Pelicans, there is one fun thing you can do and one interesting thing. So with the first Pelican, the one that drops off the two carriers, if you kick out the pilot early enough and then get in the Pelican before it despawns, sometimes the Pelicans despawn and they fall to the ground. Other times they don't. I don't exactly know why some of them despawn when they do or don't, but that's just how it happens. But if you're able to get into this one quick enough, I can actually keep the two flood carriers on the back. Like, they actually stay on the Pelican. They don't jump out. Even if I were to fly on relatively the same path that it originally was and slow down here, they still don't jump out. They stay on the Pelican the whole time, and they pretty much will never get off at this point. Because I guess by kicking the pilot out and then driving it myself, I broke the scripting for them. So they are permanently stuck on the Pelican. And these flood carriers, they're not even technically sitting in a seat on the Pelican. It's more like they're attached to the Pelican as a child object. Because even if I flip the Pelican upside down, normally that would kick out everybody inside, but it does not kick out the flood carriers. And even if I bring them up to this platform here where the secret door is on this mission, which if you don't know about it, there's a little door up here that opens and closes, but there's nothing behind it, which maybe I'll look into that more for a future video. But anyways, even if I toss the Pelican around, it flips it 100 times and stuff, the two carriers will never get off. They are real though, because I can shoot one, and as soon as I shoot one, it kicks it off and then it explodes, but nothing else will knock them off other than getting shot. Now the last question you may be wondering is, how come earlier when they were flying by, without me kicking them out, you can't see who's flying the Pelicans? Why were the Pelican seats, the pilot seats, invisible or empty? Well, that's because Pelicans in Halo 2, they have the driver's seat. There's a checkbox in the game files where it sets the pilot to be invisible, so that whoever gets in, their character turns invisible. But if I uncheck that option, then now you could see the Pelicans being flown with someone in the driver's seat, which is the Flood Combat Elite. But however, they're standing up in the seat when it's flying by. And likewise, it's the same with the other Pelican. You'll see them standing up as they're flying. which I guess it kind of makes sense. But yeah, so that's basically why they're invisible. It's because they're literally set to be invisible. And if you make them not invisible, then you can indeed see them, their heads sticking out, or at least half their body sticking out of the cockpit, flying the Pelicans. But yeah, so there you guys have it. That is the answer to who's piloting the Pelicans on High Charity, and that is Elite Flood Combat Forms. So hopefully you guys did enjoy this video and found it to be interesting. If you did, as always, make sure to leave a like. Leave your thoughts and comments. Anything else you want me to check out or look into, feel free to let me know. But other than that, if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to my channel, and I will see you all next time. Bye, guys.